Hi, I'm here today with James and Jaclyn Dunne from mindandbodydetox.co.uk. Now, tell me a bit about Mind and Body Detox and how it works, and a bit of background on how you guys got together, because I know you've been together a long time. Is it how many kids you got, Jaclyn? Is it 2 or 3?
Yeah, we've got two. We've been together for 20 years, married for 15 this year.
Why did you roll your eyes when you did that?
Yeah, it's because it's just been one hell of a journey. When I met James, I was an accountant, but a very long story short, I lost my mum and dad a week apart in 2013, and it changed everything for me. I was an accountant with an autoimmune condition, and all of a sudden I wanted to focus more on getting myself better and stronger, and I started to study nutrition and homeopathy, and then all of a sudden I had enough qualifications to do it for a living, and so I did, and I loved it. And James at that stage wasn't very happy in what he was doing.
And then when Jaclyn started to set the company up, everything was there apart from the fitness element. And apart from me going back to try and be a pro footballer at 34, 35, then the best thing for me was to be able to go into the fitness industry. That it really helped me get through those challenging days and times when I was doing a job that, although it was paying me immensely well, that I ended up detesting. So that's where a lot of the time we're working with clients now. One of the pure factors that we're asking them is, what is your purpose at the moment? And it's a brave decision for us, especially because we had girls at private school at that time and a mortgage and all the bills. And then suddenly to change your career overnight and not be qualified and everything. Luckily, I sold the company and we lived off that money for a certain period of time. But that money can go pretty quickly when you're paying for school fees and mortgages. And stuff.
Doing the things you love and turning that into your passion and your job and how you create your income, that's becoming far more popular to people now than ever before. So the fact that you guys are passionate about doing this and you probably spring out of bed every day and you enjoy helping your clients and your customers to go on this journey and to see the results that they can get, I'm sure that drives you, but that will rub off and drive them as well.
Absolutely. I think it's actually served us well. Obviously, everything happens for a reason, but I think it's served us well, both being in the corporate environment, that we can have that relationship with clients, that we understand and empathetic to what they've gone through and what they are going through. And it makes you appreciate things that little bit more. So I think you can really appreciate that journey when you've changed your career path.
I'm going to put your website up so that we can have a look at that. So the website is mindandbodydetox.co.uk. It's a really nice website. Talk me through how it works in terms of the services that you provide and the typical things that customers come to you for. That's you there, James. No Photoshop in there. That's all good. That's all good.
Okay. I think it was good lighting on the day.
I'll skip by that photo. That's making me feel terrible about myself today.
There's no Photoshop there.
I see photos like that and I imagine a photo of me doing that same pose and whether anybody would buy anything off it. I suppose if it was a before and after, James, it'd be a different world. But yeah, so
it was not like that. So it's exactly. Again, when I was training and I was playing for training with Wimbledon at the time, and they were in the Premiership, and I was 9 stone wet through and less, and they were a particularly physical side, and I grew a foot in a year, or just shy of about 10 inches in a year. So I was about 5 foot at 16, so I was diminutive. So once I grew, I then had to kind of put some muscle on it and train from that perspective. So we all have our starting point, and then we just build from there.
Tell me about a typical client journey then. They find you, where would they find you normally? Jaclyn, you've got a big social media presence as an influencer. Do they come through your pages, or do they hear about you through word of mouth? How do they start their journey to get to Mind and Body Detox?
I think now we are, because the following on social media has grown so exponentially, most of people have seen us on social media. We do a lot of Facebook advertising when we're allowed. So we get a lot of work locally through that, and word of mouth as well. So I have a lot of clients, because the bioresonance machine that I use is only 7 in the country. So people do generally travel far and wide to come and have bioresonance therapy with me. So I get a lot of clients who they have had a friend or a relative who's already worked with me and got to the bottom of whatever their health ailment was. They wasn't getting results through traditional methods, and yeah, a lot of it can be word of mouth now. I actually get quite a lot of referrals from James, where James is working with people in the fitness space, and they hit a little bit of a brick wall, and that's often not because they're not working hard enough, not because their diet's not on point. All of that is fine, but if we're not getting the results, there's got to be something going on with their health to stop that from happening. And that's when they get handed over to me. We put things back into balance, and then they go on to get great results with James. So we're kind of tag teaming each other. We don't work together in the same room every single day. We do work with a lot of the same people, and I'm referring people on when they're well enough to train with James, and James is referring people when they're not getting the results that they need to be able to they should be getting.
I think we're really fortunate that the amount of service that we do offer, with obviously Jaclyn's expertise in naturopathy and homeopathy and so on and so forth, is that there's pretty much wherever a client comes to, often the time that I'm doing discovery calls for 10 minutes, just a free call just to find out a little bit about them. And there'll be often they might reach out for weight loss from my perspective. But when I start to ask, and I really do delve into some really uncomfortable questions, I always say to my clients, you've got to be as candid as you can, because if you're not sharing with me all of your challenges at the moment, I can't help you move forward. So I actually use my clients to get me to use them as a sounding board. And there'll be lots of cases where, especially now, they're going through divorces or they're on antidepressants and so on and so forth, and they might have tried so many different things, but unless I've got a real good, unique, holistic understanding of them as an individual, we can't help them move forward. And often I'll be saying to them, look, that's not look for a fat loss program at the moment. We need to get you in the healthiest state your body needs at the moment. I would advise that we need to do X, Y, and Z with Jaclyn. Let's get you in that position first. And because a lot of the time people are pouring from an empty cup.
Yeah.
And if you haven't got, those energy levels, then you're just depleting that more and more. You're going to affect your immune system. You're going to become more unwell. So we just try and get them in the healthiest state possible and then move them forward after that.
Makes sense. Now, Jaclyn, very quickly, the sort of 1 minute elevator pitch on bioresonance for the layman. Tell us what it does and how it works, and about this machine that you've bought that's maybe one of only 7 in the UK.
Yeah, it's called a sensitive imago machine. It was made in Prague. It uses bioresonance therapy, which is sound waves and frequencies. Everything has its own individual sound wave and frequency, absolutely everything. And what the guys at Imago have done is they've put a database of frequencies, over 50,000 frequencies of viruses, bacteria, any pathogen. So viruses, bacteria, parasites and funguses have all got their own frequency. We can scan the body. A lot of people that come to see me have had a lot of scans done allopathically, so they might have had MRI or anything like that, and they've not got the answers. But that's because they're looking for something they can physically see with those machines. Whereas with bioresonance, I always use the analogy, if someone's hiding in a room and you can't see them, doesn't mean they're not there. But if you ask them to make a sound, which is what bioresonance does, then we know categorically that they're there. We can even tell whereabouts in the room they are because of where the sound is coming from, the strength of the sound, how big that person is. So it gives us a lot of information just with sound waves and frequencies, which may have been ruled out previously. I do get a lot of clients coming in saying, oh, I've had a negative result on that. I haven't got that. But then we scan, we do see that is what's going on. So it's a diagnostic tool, but you can also use it as a treatment. I use it as a rebalancing treatment, but I also use it to diagnose, to be able to then get very specific with the protocol that this person needs going forward.
Yeah, it sounds really good. And then, so the bioresonance, and then it moves on to the personal training. That's more your side, James.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So obviously, I know people do travel all over the country, especially we've had quite a few people that have driven down, or their partners have driven them down from Scotland one day. They've stayed in the hotel and they've driven back the following day. And, we love working with people like that are prepared to commit and see their health and well-being as an investment rather than the cost. Ironically, we'll have people locally that might be 20 minutes away saying, oh, I can't quite commit to the time of so-and-so. Whereas you've got people all over the country. Had even people fly over from Switzerland to see Jaclyn. So that's the commitment that people are prepared to make that change. But obviously, because of what's gone on over the last couple of years, we've always had an online presence, but we've really developed that and grown that significantly now because we want to be able to help as many people on their health and well-being journey nationally and internationally. So I had a lady last year that reached out to me, and she lived in Saba, and that's off Miami. There's only 1,500 people on an island. So, you know, that has enabled us to help people as far as field as that really. So that's been fantastic.
That's why we've really wanted to focus on the online program, because
Mm-hmm.
it means we have a far greater reach. You don't have to live just up the road to train with James. You can be anywhere in the world, as this woman who got amazing results, by the way, is testament to.
And how do we get? How would they access the online program? Is that on the website just now, or is that something that when they connect with you?
No, that's something completely separate. And what we've done, obviously, is because we are aware of certain platforms reduce the capacity to people to see on certain algorithms or close people down, as we have been a few times ourselves, unfortunately. We invested into a private portal which our clients can access. So it's almost like a Bible of all of our information on that 8-week program. And the good thing is with that, where beforehand it was run via Facebook, we couldn't control certain things. And once they'd had access for that 8 weeks, that program had closed down. Now, once they've purchased the program, that's for theirs to keep forever.
That's good.
It's just a bit of an added value service for them to keep that information.
And that's still part of the Mind and Body Detox
Absolutely, yeah.
suite of products, yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
But you've separated it out from the personal training and the bioresonance.
So much aspect. So the way that we generally start the program is before I do a discovery call to find out a little bit more information about them. They have to really fill out an in-depth questionnaire, which we're looking at things like sleep, digestion, menstrual cycle, and then we move them forward on to get an understanding from how they're currently eating. You know, some people think that we're going to pass judgment. There's no judgment whatsoever. All we're looking to do is just to find out where that person is and then just educate them week by week without overwhelming them about how they can make better choices. They've got like a shopping list, a menu plan, and a recipe book, but they've got 6 options of a recipe book. So if someone's a vegan, if somebody wants to prefer to be a low carb, a high protein diet, they've got a variety of options from there. And I think the reason that they succeed so well is they've got our accountability. So I'm constantly leaving them voice notes each week and checking in with them, not just about their nutrition and their movement, but just about their general well-being, what's going on with family life, what's going on with their work, just how they're feeling in general. So there's lots of going back and forth and interaction with that, just to kind of keep them accountable.
And constantly educating them as well, and not just like this is what you need to be doing, this is why you need to be doing it. So there's webinars on the platform what they can just watch at their own leisure, which are on key topic, making sure your gut health is tip top. There's 40-minute webinars about all of those things, so that they're starting to learn, because that's how the brain responds in terms of keeping that. When we step away, we need people not to need us. That's what we're teaching them. We're teaching them this is how you would be better off to live your life, because it's going to serve your body better, but this is why you should be doing it. So it's a learning, it's an educational journey, and everybody's at a different starting point.
And people are really up for educating themselves on this. I think you're pushing against an open door now with this stuff far more than ever before for people. People need things like this now, and it sounds, although it's a digital journey, it sounds very personalized and tailored as well. So that's all very, very good. And pricing points, is it a monthly plan and that's a lifelong plan, or how does it work?
So basically what we do is we give people a couple of options. Obviously they purchase all up front and they have access to that 8-week program for obviously the 8 weeks, and with me mentoring them throughout that process. They've got that constant interaction with me. So we work it from that perspective. Or if someone needs to split it over 2 payments, we allow them to do that as well. And then some clients go on to have like one-to-one coaching me for accountability thereafter. But where we have lots of conversations and lots of communication, we're constantly going back and forth. I mean, the prime example is a lady that just finished working with me. She had type 2 diabetes for over 20 years. She was north of 11 or 12 on the blood glucose readings. So every morning, to keep her accountable, she was sending me her blood glucose fasting readings, because she knew that she had to make good choices that day, because I was going to be checking in with her again tomorrow. So she went in 6 weeks from, I think, 11.1 to 5.2. So she's in remission now. Her blood sugars have completely stabilized.
Brilliant. Absolutely.
So that's the kind of level of accountability that we're offering to our clients.
Well, listen, it's a great service. We love you guys and we love what you're doing. So we will promote it to our members, and we hope that anybody watching this video gets in touch with you and connects, do the initial chat with you, see if they resonate more than they do even in the video. And if they do, why not try it and, you know, see how these services can help. So thank you very much for your time today, guys. It's been an absolute pleasure, and good luck with everything. It's a great service you're providing.
Brilliant.
Thanks
Thanks again.